Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Templar Assembly. The first one we're going to try and do from home. I'm here sat in my kitchen at the moment. I've just finished my period one for this morning, and so I thought, what better way to start the day than to do the Templar Assembly for this fortnight. I hope you're all doing well out there. I appreciate times are a bit more difficult at the moment, and I hope the online learning is all going well. I'm going to start the way I would normally start these assemblies by looking at the praise points, and it's rather sad reading, unfortunately, for Templar, right down there at the bottom, unfortunately. So I think the less said about that, the better, because Colworth clearly flying away with things at the moment, over 500 points ahead. We're really missing out on doing the tug of war and university challenge, which we normally do well in. We normally get about 1,000 points for winning those. So, unfortunately, we are stuck a bit behind. Hopefully, when we're back in school, we'll be able to claw those points back by competing in those events. Next is the form groups, and actually, we still do have the top form in the school because TAJD are absolutely flying at the front with 1,193 points. Mr. Walker's form currently in second, closely followed by Miss Callie's form. So, again, well done to those forms for being in the top six. Excellent stuff there. Really well done to those forms. And then we get on to the students. I thought because it was the end of 2020 and the start of 2021, we'd look back and see who had the most praise points over the last year. So the year just gone, the first 3 months that we've had so far. And in year seven, we've got Harvey, George, and Tom all flying the flag for year seven. Excellent points tally so far there to those three lads. In year eight, we have Mason, Josh, and Jack. Again, all boys at the moment, the top three in year eight. So well done to you guys. Fantastic stuff. In year nine, we have Charlie, Jack, and Eve. So again, well done to you in year nine. A fantastic effort so far. In year in year 10, we've got Arjun, Finn, and Emma. So well done to Arjun, Finn, and Emma in year 10. And then in year 11, we have Josh, Jess, and Ella all flying high in the praise points. So well done to everybody there. The most praise points so far this academic year. So since September, you have got the most praise points for Templar in your year groups, and very well done to you. Now, again, if we were in an actual assembly, I'd be handing out the golden tickets now, but unfortunately, they're not much use to you when we're sat at home. So maybe when we get back, there'll be a little prize for all of you for doing so well. This week and this assembly, you'll notice that it is about careers and setting goals and targets and aims and things like that. So it's quite an important topic that we need to go over as a school because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get you ready for work and thinking about your career. Now, you might think in the younger years, well, this doesn't really apply to me, and I think that's incorrect. Actually, I think yes, it may be more important for the 10s and 11s because they're sort of coming up to very important years and will be thinking probably a bit more about their career and goal. But it is important for you as well in year 7 and 8 because you've got to start thinking about what options choices you're going to make, and that will then hopefully lead on to your career. The key thing is about trying to think ahead, all right? Trying to think ahead. Now, you're probably thinking of this idea of when I grow up, all right? So, this is a picture of me when I was younger. Obviously, this is definitely, there's no filters on it or anything. That's just a picture of me when I was 14. You probably sat there now thinking, well, what is my goal? What is my aim? What am I actually going to do? And I think Careers Week or Careers Fortnight is very important for us thinking about What are we actually going to do when we get older? What is my aim? What is my goal? And it is important. And a lot of times this week in Shooter Times, you'll probably be asked to think about your aims or your objectives or what you want to do when you grow up. So I just wanted to go through what mine were. Okay, so I was, at Sharnbrook Academy in 1997 until 2002. Okay, so some of you, well, most of you weren't even born then, but I was at that school, and my goals were, based around getting in the football team, which I barely did. Wasn't quite good enough. Played a few games, but never really anything special. Stay out of trouble. Obviously, try and make sure that I'm not getting any bother in school, not causing anyone any issues, any teachers. Being a good boy, basically. Become a policeman. I remember being about 14 years old, as I am in this photo, and thinking that that was my main aim in life, was to be a policeman. And it's quite funny how it didn't quite turn out that way, and now I'm a teacher. And then to do well in school. All right, that's probably quite an obvious one, because hopefully that's what we're all thinking of doing at the moment. Our main aim at the moment maybe is just to do well in school and just to get ourselves where we need to be. I think now, if we're thinking about now as well, about my goals now, I think these have obviously massively changed since I was 14 years old. I'm now 25, as you can tell from this photo. And again, one of my goals might be, as head of house and head of year, is to think about trying to win the house cup again. That's one of my main goals, maybe. It might also be that I want to be a good dad. Obviously, having a young daughter has slightly changed my goals, my aims, my objectives. And so, yeah, things come at you in life, and you maybe have to change your aims and goals. Obviously, one of them's also to be a good teacher and a good head of house and a good head of year, and make sure that I look after all my students that are in my care, and make sure that you lot are all right, and that I can do anything that I can to help you. And then I might have something frivolous on there again, like win the tennis doubles at the Olney Tennis Club or something like that. Again, just as an aim or an objective to try and achieve something, because that's what we're sort of looking at over the next 2 weeks or so. Soon you'll sort of get on the ladder of, well, you're already on it actually. You're the ladder of life. At the moment, your main aim, even if you're in year 7 and 8 at the moment, is your GCSEs. That's the goal, and it seems a long way at the moment. I know that, but soon you'll end up picking your option choices, and then suddenly you'll be in year 9, and you'll have started your GCSEs, and then before you know it, it'll be year 11, and you're in the final throes of school where you're taking your GCSEs. Now, what society tells us is that you start off by doing your GCSEs in school, and doing well in school and making sure you get a good education. And then the next step is supposed to be that you then go on and do your A levels. That's what most of you will end up doing. And then you go on to get your A levels, and you go and get a degree at university. And then maybe you come out of university and go straight into your first job, and after a few years you might get a promotion, then you'll get another promotion, and then another promotion, and then you'll finally be happy. Well, sometimes it's not quite like this. Okay, now, if I remember when I was right at the bottom of that run, when I was doing my GCSEs, I was a pretty average student. I would get sort of C grades all the way through. I went through to A levels, again, very much a C grade student. Went off to university, got my degree. Again, I was a C grade, funny enough, because I was a very much a C grade student. But the next step is where I slightly fell off a bit, actually, because I didn't go and get my first job. I'd sort of had enough of doing business, which is funny if you think that I'm actually now a business and economics teacher. But because I'd done it for so long at university and A levels, I sort of had enough of it. And so actually, rather than going to get my first job, I went traveling for a year and a bit. I went and traveled and taught in different countries, and then actually came back and got my first job. But what I'm trying to say is that this ladder, this way we're supposed to go, isn't for everybody. You might get to the first bit of that ladder there where it says GCSEs, and you might not want to go and do your A levels. You might want to go and get an apprenticeship, like we can see on the screen now. There's loads of apprenticeships out there. You might want to go into the army. You might want to become a policeman, like I used to, or work for the fire service, or for the NHS, or whatever it might well be. You might even want to do what I did and go traveling for a little bit. There are so many different options out there for you. But what we need to do is start to thinking about, right, what are our goals? What are our aims? What are our objectives? Where do I want to be in a few years' time? All right, it's very important that we start forward planning. And look, the ladder that we just looked at, it's not for everyone. So you just need to pick out what is right for you and what aims and objectives work for you. What about when I get older? Here's a photo of me from in the future. This is what I'll look like in the future. You know, uh, still as handsome as ever, but maybe just a little bit grey. So I need to then maybe start thinking about, well, what are my goals going to be when I'm 50, 60 years old? They're going to completely change, aren't they? I've got no idea where I'm going to be in when I'm 50 or 60. So maybe I can't really think about those aims and objectives now, but what I can think about is that 5 year plan. Where do I want to be in 5 years' time, maybe? All right. Because the key thing to think about is, if not now, then when are you going to do it? Okay, you're in